Oh, it is bloody cold. Oh, that's unfortunate. It is bloody cold in here. Okay. Whew. First presenting to camera video. Got to learn to look into that little circle right there. Hello, people faces. God, that's awful. That's really bad. Maybe I should just start with I'll just start with the script that I've got. I'm within spitting distance of 22. And I'll be honest with you, I've never been so terrified of a number in my life. I don't have a degree. I work a part-time job. I don't have a dream. I don't have a career in mind. I don't really have a plan or a path at the moment. But what I do have is 17 years of conscious life experience. Today I'm going to see what I can pull from that to see what I can take into this decade and maybe the ones after it to make them just a little more comfortable to be in. Now keep in mind, I'm no expert. I did just say that I didn't go beyond A-level, but I think the insights that I can share, if slightly subjective, are worth giving some thought, I'd like to say. Anyway, here are a few things that I'm trying to teach myself in 2025. Number one, you do not need to know to start. Unless your dream is to be a brain surgeon or maintain a nuclear power plant, you don't need a qualification or a piece of paper to tell you that you can do something. I recently came across a quote from Mark Twain that says, "The secret to getting ahead is getting started." I think my favorite part about this lesson in particular, and the reason why I want to take it into the next year with me, is because it allows you to explore so many new things. You can just approach something and pick it up and trust yourself to learn along the way. You can see how far your basic knowledge takes you, and if you have any problems, most people have the assembled knowledge of the entirety of human history in the palm of their hand at least a couple hours a day. Sorry, it is actually really cold in here. I didn't expect it to be this cold, but then again, it is the beginning of December, but I'm here and I'm recording the video. So if you start something and go as far as your basic knowledge takes you, Google everything you don't understand, finish and you don't like the result, that's okay, because you're exploring, you're learning, you're approaching something new with no experience. It's pretty much a given that the first thing you do is going to be utter crap. Case in point, this video, I'm literally sat here in a building in my back garden with no insulation. There's a bike next to me, and I'm sat here with my phone on a rickety little thing that's attached to a table, but I'm doing it, and I'm here, and I'm showing up, and that feels good. It feels good to show up and do this, even though 6 people might see this ever. But I will still know that I came out and I did this and I recorded this video, I edited it, I scripted it, and I put it together myself. And I'm proud of that. And I will choose to be proud of that. And I need to raise this camera up because I'm hunching so much that my back is starting to hurt. For me, this lesson brings back a feeling that I thought I'd lost, which is the sort of playfulness that you have when your age is still in the single digits, and you're still learning things, and you're still picking up new things and playing with them. And it's this fascination that I can only describe as being the same as when you have a toy car and you're just moving it from side to side on the carpet in your living room. And I remember being amazed by just the fact that the wheels were turning separately from the rest of the thing. And I think I want to try and achieve the same thing with YouTube. I want to try to achieve a feeling where I look at what I create and I think, wow, I did actually make that. You know, it's simple, but I made it, and that's cool, and it's there. Just picking stuff up and letting my imagination do the rest. So seriously, just pick something, get started, go as far as you can go, because if every step you take needs piles of research and notes, you're never getting to the corner shop for your cookies. Number 2, actually, nobody cares. I realized that I've been dealing with this problem since I originally wanted to start a YouTube channel back in high school. It might feel at the moment like picking up a pencil to draw or setting up a camera to record something it just feels like the absolute trenches. It feels like the worst thing ever. What if one of my friends sees it and it makes the rounds at college? What if my work colleagues or my boss see it and they think I'm some kind of weirdo? What if my parents see it and tell me to get a grip and do something real with my life? Honestly, I can't see how this sort of situation would make my parents think that I don't have a grip on things. The more I move through life and take opportunities and say yes to things, the more I realize that other people really are so wrapped up in their own lives that they aren't going to come over and tell you when you're doing things that are weird. So unless you've chosen a career in the application of blunt force trauma to the shins of early morning commuters, nobody is going to take time out of their day to come and tell you that what you're doing is bad or that you're making a mistake. As a Morris dancer, I've walked through busy city centres on Saturdays with a face full of paint and a hat covered in feathers, tattered clothing and a guitar on my back. And maybe 1 in 300 people that I walk past actually see me and acknowledge my existence. And those that actually do smile at me anyway, because they can understand the novelty of what they're looking at. The point is that nobody is going to tell you that you're doing something wrong by trying to get good at something that you want to get good at. Number 3, nobody's coming to save you. No one is coming to make life right for you. Nobody's coming to solve your problems. Yes, irritatingly, the realization that nobody really is bothered about what you end up doing with your life also means that nobody is going to come and make you do something with it. No sort of motivational guru is going to come crashing through your kitchen window, explain to you exactly what your path in life is, and lay out all the steps for you to infinite momentum and happiness. I just hit my bike again. You at some point will personally have to make a decision about what you want from this and how you're going to get it. And I think that's where I'm at the moment. Number 4, you cannot please everyone. Really, you can't. I've tried. If you lived 500 years and dedicated every waking moment that you have in your life towards creating a seamless worldview that looks exactly the same from every angle, there will still be people that disagree with you, and there will still be people that generally see you as lesser. And that is simply because you cannot be good enough for people that can't be good enough for themselves. I think my goal here, at least for the moment, is quite literally to go through life, to try and do the right thing in as many circumstances as I can, and just try to learn to deal with the inevitable mistakes that I make. Number 5, I quite like this one. We really are all just crumbs in the sauce. Having recently gotten back in touch with some quite important people from my earlier education, I've realized that behind all of the lesson plans and the protocol and the deadline pressure, teachers are just as human as the rest of us. They have anxieties, they have sources of stress. When I was in high school, I used to see teachers as oracles of knowledge and arbiters of justice, the absolute pillars of how you life correctly. But as much as they will teach you many important lessons, I'm willing to bet that teachers don't have as many ducks in a row as they'd like you to believe. But they do still have more than you, so pay attention. Number 6, there are times that you will not miss. Yes, people will tell you that your teen years are the best years of your life and that it's all downhill from there. But I've made a tiny list of a couple of really quite crummy things that have almost entirely stopped for me since I turned 21. The first one is peer pressure. Yes, there are going to be people in your life that have pro tips about what you should be doing and how much, but people have stopped thinking less of me or vocally demeaning me for not having the best new shoes or not watching the latest shows or not smoking. Nobody's making fun of me for the phone that I have anymore. Nobody that isn't paying you is going to put real pressure on you to do something that they want you to do. And if they do, you can simply leave them to it. The second thing I don't have to do anymore is plan for things that I don't care about. From here on out, providing I have an idea of what I want to accomplish with the time that I have, anything that I'm planning at any point is entirely under my control. Whether I'm going to see friends next week, or I want to at some point start a business, or perhaps a hobby of some kind, I have the option to prioritize only the things I deem most important, and I am in control of what I do or do not put time into. Last but not least, action leads to motivation, not the other way around. When you're at the start of a big, silly, daunting task, it can feel like there isn't a foothold low enough to pull yourself up with. For me, the idea of posting a genuine presenting to camera and talking about stuff video is absolutely terrifying, and I don't know why I'm doing this. But I discovered that at the beginning of this year, that when I started picking away at the tasks that I have slowly, especially with regards to YouTube and Twitch, things really do get easier. In January, I thought the idea of posting a gaming video every week was completely insurmountable and it terrified me. But then I managed it for the most part. Obviously, I took a week off here and there, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be before I made a plan and decided to start. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the idea of posting a video like this every month, when the only place I have to record is an outbuilding in my backyard that has no insulation in it, that gets absolutely freezing when it's 4 degrees outside. But I'm going to do my best. So those are just a few of the notes that I picked up from the last few years of my life. I really want to use them to propel me into the next year. And I suppose this is sort of a letter to myself to remind me that I do have skills and I have learned things. And most importantly, I think that lessons and the things that you learn aren't necessarily limited to the confines of a classroom. Perhaps you can find a few lessons in your own life, whether you've got a master's degree or you're a barista with delusions of grandeur like my dapper self. If so, please feel free to share them in the comments. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next month.